Hello and welcome to Whimsically Wicked, a reading duet. My name is Haley and I am the Wicked. Wait,
Oh,
I'm not the Wicked half.
are we trading places? This is not the episode for that.
I'm the whimsical half.
And my name is Daria, and I am the wicked half, especially today.
Especially today.
All right, welcome to today's episode, which is going to be a ride. It's going to be an emotional roller coaster. It's going to be an experience for the uninitiated. This is another deep dive into Harry Potter fanfiction, into places you may not want to go, but we're going anyway. And that is Harry Potter rare pairings. And you're like, what is that? And I've come up with my own definition for this to narrow down our candidates.
Okay.
So, to be considered a Harry Potter rare pairing right now, in my totally obsolete.
And by rare pairing, you mean couples that you wouldn't think end up together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just weird things that people have come up with, which, like, I will say all these fanfics I'm going to recommend were very well written.
Okay.
But they're going to take a second to, like, really sink in. But for something to be considered a rare pairing in my made-up world, it had to have less than 100 completed fanfics, over 30,000 words, and excluded crossovers. So, like, it wouldn't be like Harry Potter and Supernatural, or Harry Potter or Marvel is a really popular one I noticed.
Oh, wow.
Which, like...
So it only
tempting.
Harry Potter
Only Harry
and
Potter.
not many, under 100 have to have been published.
Yes, with
Okay.
over 30,000 words, and were completed fanfics, except for one on my list.
Okay, cool.
That said, there are almost 600,000 fanfics on AO3, including, like, incomplete and, like, short ones.
Just for Harry Potter?
Just for Harry Potter.
Wow.
It is massive. So
it's the most popular type of fan fiction, question mark?
I think so.
It's gotta be up there.
It's gotta be like Twilight, Harry Potter. I have to be, because those are the ones that keep getting published into books.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So, like, it must be. But I thought I would start us off with a little bit of what a rare pairing is not.
Okay.
So, in case you're like, wow, maybe like these two people end up on this list, these are the ones that we'll not be covering.
Okay.
Drarry.
Well, that one's not a rare.
No, it's also the
which
most
is
popular.
Draco and Harry. Even I know that.
Yes, by far the most popular. It's above Dramione.
Which I was really surprised about, that it was more popular than Draco and Hermione. Because
Yeah.
that was like all the rage, but that was all the rage because of Manacled.
Yes.
But Draco and Harry, which is hilarious to me, and we've talked a little bit about this, I feel as though Draco and Harry being the most popular fan fiction is just a big collective fuck you to J.K. Rowling.
This whole episode's going to be. I'm going to spoil that for all of you now. None of this is straight.
I think the fanfiction community was like, hey, Harry Potter, great world, super fun, super whimsical.
Not gay enough.
We all hate the author, and she wrote so many queer characters that she just refused to make queer because she sucks. And so the fanfiction community was just like, I hope you're happy.
They're all gay. All of them. Yeah, so no Draco and Harry on this list. If you do want that, leave a comment or something somewhere, because boy, can I make that list for you.
Great.
Next up, also not on the list, Snarry.
Snape and...
Yep.
Dude.
Wait, thousands met my criteria.
Thousands?
Thousands.
Snape and Harry.
I could also make a list for this one if anyone is so inclined.
I'm not going to ask questions. I have lots, but I'm not going to.
You can ask them about the pairings we're actually going to talk about.
Okay.
Because they get, obviously, if Snape and Harry didn't make this list, some other shit did.
What are we doing here?
Next up, Dramione. Obviously, we just covered that one. Or also, already kind of spoiled this. We're pretty gay today, so
It's not a weird pairing.
No, it's not.
Draco and Hermione make sense to me. Except for the only person that Draco and Hermione doesn't make sense to is my boyfriend.
Has he read the books?
No, he just doesn't get
Okay.
the enemies to lovers trope.
Oh,
Yeah.
the best trope.
I know.
You need the angst to really pull you into it. Um, Hermione and Severus. I don't know that they have like a ship name. And if they do, it sounds stupid, so I didn't go with that one.
Let's not get into it. We don't
Lots.
need to get into why that was an okay relationship, just like we don't need to get into why Severus and Harry was an okay relationship. Let's
I
just
will
move
preface
on.
that one with a lot of time travel. People love the Marauders, but they also love the core Harry Potter
Yeah.
characters, so if you can toss them in with them, it's a pretty fun time.
Okay.
It is very entertaining. Actually, I'm gonna say the ship name for this one, and you can figure it out. Jegulus.
Jegulus. Regulus. Black.
Yep.
James?
Yep.
Oh.
Not a rare pairing. Not even close.
Dude, the amount of people who know who Regulus Black is, even intimately enough to write a full fan fiction of his character,
I'll be so honest with you.
kind of makes that a rare pairing in and of itself.
Granted, this was at 3 a.m. Between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning last night after having finished 40% of all the young dudes and being very emotionally charged around those characters. Sobbed at a Jegulus book or fanfic last night.
Dude.
I'm just crying.
Jegulus is such a bad name, too.
So funny. Yeah, I just go with James and Regulus, but
Good call.
cute nonetheless.
Great.
The characters who have the least background you have the most fun with.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're not tied down. Tom Mary,
Tom Mary, okay, that's not a rare pairing.
not a rare pairing.
You know what?
Not even close.
Maybe 6 months ago, I would have been absolutely flabbergasted by that, but at this point, spending as much time with you as I do, I'm not surprised that that's a popular one, unfortunately.
I also have lists for that one if anyone wants it. Hermione and Harry.
Okay.
I actually haven't read any of those ones because the thought of it makes me nauseous.
Yeah, me too.
Because they're siblings as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, agreed.
And you can't pull me out of that one.
Same.
Which is going to be really funny we go into the actual list.
Dude, the amount of arguments that I've gotten into with people who think Hermione and Harry would have been a good couple.
No!
Oh my god.
Absolutely
You're not real Harry Potter fans if you think that those two should end up together.
They make the cutest best friends.
How much straight Harry Potter fanfiction is there?
Hermione?
No, Harry Potter.
Oh, with Harry, like actual Harry Potter? Not a lot.
Because he's not.
There's going to be an honorable mention that's straight.
Okay.
But yeah, no, there's really not a lot, and like you'd have to really hunt for it. And usually, if it is like Harry and a girl, it's the background character. Like it's Harry and Ginny in a Dramione fanfic.
Right. Yeah, I've read that before.
Where they're like together, but like you don't really care.
Yeah.
Ginny's like the supportive best friend, and Harry's just kind of present.
Right. Okay. Got it.
And then obviously, our Wolf Star.
Lupin.
Yeah.
And Sirius.
Yeah.
That's not a rare pairing?
Not even.
That makes sense. Yeah,
remotely.
That makes sense. They're perfect for each other.
Okay. I would like you to guess what you think a rare pairing would be.
Yeah, you kind of just named them all. Okay.
And I'll let you know if they made the list.
Okay. You better not be doing any Ron and Ginny stuff on this fucking podcast.
No. That statement's not true. There's no Ron and Ginny. Absolutely not.
Good.
We traumatized ourselves with that already. Thank you, Kendra Claire.
That's a bit of an inside joke from like a podcast episode almost a year ago.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Okay, let me guess a real guess. Okay. I didn't even think of this before we started. Draco and Ginny?
No, also not a rare pairing.
Okay. But you also said that we were going quite queer today.
We're only queer today.
Okay. I feel like my best guess is going to be going Snape with one of the I can't say that word. What is it?
Marauders?
Marauders?
Absolutely not. I would say that those are among some of the most popular fanfics.
Dude, how many?
Also, I am fucking weak over Snape and any of the Marauders. They're always so good, enemies to lovers.
Okay. So that's not a rare pairing.
No.
Let's go with. Well, Regulus is going to be one of them, for sure, because you're obsessed with him, and I've heard you talk so much about how obsessed you are with him lately, which leads me to believe that you're reading Regulus Black fanfiction right now. So, Regulus Lupin is my guess.
No, although I don't think I've read any like that, so it might actually be a rare pairing.
Okay. I'm super biased right now because we're reading all of the young dudes.
Yeah.
So, okay, one more guess. I'll go back to the regular series because the time travel thing is just overwhelming me right now. I don't have the capacity to guess one of those. Okay, let's do. I'm trying to remember all of the characters now. Here's the thing. Ron isn't going to be in any of these because I can't see you actually picking up a Ron Weasley fanfiction.
I don't know that there's many of them.
No, because
people really hate Ron.
Yeah, which is, I don't know, he was one of my favorites, but I'm gonna get blasted in the comments for that being a red flag. Okay, let's go with. Ooh, I don't know if this one is going to be a rare one, but Charlie Weasley and Harry Potter.
That is in fact on my list.
Let's go!
I will be honest, the list ended up being very Weasley heavy.
Wow, but still no Ron. Poor
No
Ron.
No. Can you see Harry and Ron together though?
No, God no.
No,
That's definitely not. I don't think Ron is gay at all.
No, Ron is aggressively straight.
Yeah.
So straight.
I truly am one of those people who believe that Ron and Hermione were supposed to end up together.
You know, I'm not. No. I can't. I think because I, like, relate a lot to Hermione, and I've dated guys more like Ron who were, like, less ambitious than me and less... My last boyfriend, that's how I imagine Ron would be.
Yeah, that's
as an
fair.
adult in a relationship, and it was suffocating.
Ooh, I don't see him like that at all.
Really? You don't see him being, like, a little lazy, little, like, I'm okay with this low of the bottom of the career barrel for the rest of my life?
No, because I don't think that's ever where he was gonna be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I just, like, Ron has no drive to me. Like, he's not
Oh.
academically inclined. He wasn't, like...
Definitely not academically inclined.
He was choosing his career because it was, like, what Harry was doing.
Right. Yeah, okay.
So a lot of it, I was like, I don't think Ron has the oomph.
Yeah.
Which is, like, not a bad thing. Like, you need people in those jobs. But I'm like, that's not who Hermione would end up with. I feel like she wanted to be with someone who's equally career-oriented. Can you imagine Hermione with a Weasley flock of children? She's going to have one, maybe two.
Okay, fair enough.
If she decides to have kids.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think Ron's just so much like his mom.
Okay, yeah.
Which, again, not a bad thing. Just not a Hermione thing.
Yeah. Okay, I can see it.
And I'm trying really hard to keep my statements on this to canon. But there's a really fine line of what I can and can't remember.
The reason that I don't think we can argue that much about Harry Potter is that we have completely different perspectives on it now.
Yeah.
Like, you know so much about Harry Potter that, like, you probably have a hard time figuring out what's canon versus what's not. And I just have, like, the 12 times that I read the books and the 85 times that I've watched the movies to, like, support me here.
And as we've learned.
Yeah, we can't get it. Like, sometimes me and Daria have arguments, and then we're just like, okay, it's just because we think very differently on this now.
And also, as we figured out, like, between you and Danielle, is, like, even my canon knowledge is way too deep.
It's so deep, and then, yeah, it really is.
We're, like... I've read, like, 200 fanfics
because,
in 8
like,
months.
what happens, too, because sorry, we're going to get to the point here soon, I promise. But like what ends up happening because we're reading this other canon series that's like written by a fan and it's an entire series basically
Yeah.
that is canon but was not written by J.K. Rowling, and then we like how much of that is like truth of what happened versus how much of it is just like this fabricated fan that just decided that this is the way that it happened, and like it blurs the lines so much.
Yeah, and I'm a little nitpicky because the thing I've been writing myself takes place during
Yeah.
years 6 and 7 from Marauders era, so I know them really, really well, and like
Right.
every single event that happens during
Yeah.
that is canon because I'm sticking to it.
Right. You're
So
doing your
now when
research.
this author starts moving things around, I'm like, yes, totally fair, but also like you tag this as canon compliant.
Yeah, okay, we're not gonna get into it. Let's do unhinged Harry Potter fanfics.
All right, so how this is gonna go? You're gonna get your ship. You're gonna get how popular it is. How many fics met my criteria?
Okay.
How long it is. I'm doing it in word count. I can convert to pages, but just assume a lot for most of these. Long. And then I have like the AO3 synopsis, some like fun facts about it, and then I have quick play-by-play of the first 1 to 2 chapters, depending on how long they were. Because like one of these first chapters was over 10,000 words long, and I was like, we're not doing a second one. That's not happening.
Okay.
I wrote like 12 paragraphs, and I was like, I'm out.
Yeah, that's enough.
The first one I have is the longest fanfic I've read.
Are these rated in any specific order?
No.
Okay.
We just went on the order of which I wrote them down.
Okay, sounds good. Go for it.
This is Harry / Fred Weasley / George Weasley.
Oh my god. Yeah, you.
Because I was gonna go for a throuple at some point. 28 fanfics meet this requirement.
Okay.
I will say though, like when I
There's
say 28...
28 pieces of literature on AO3 of these three getting together.
Well, see, this is going to be one of my prefaces for this, is I can't, like, exclude every other relationship tag. So it might just be, like, a bunch of one-shots that someone's published that are over 30,000 words long.
Yeah.
But, like, one chapter is this, one chapter is, like, Harry and Draco, the next chapter is Harry and whoever else. Like,
got it.
It kind of depends. Or it's some unhinged sex fest, in which case it's, like, a bajillion tags that I can't keep track of.
Yeah, okay.
But
that's how many fanfictions have that tag in them.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And are complete and over 30,000 words long.
Okay. Let's do this.
This is actually one of the most popular ones that I chose too. It's so funny.
This is the longest fanfiction you've ever read?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll explain a little bit as to why that's the case.
Yeah.
While we're doing it. This is longer than all the young dudes. You have a lot of
explaining to do today.
There's going to be a lot of that. Yeah, that's totally fair. This is Let's Try Again by Daydreamer315, and you'll be able to find all the links for the fanfics in the description of the video on YouTube, and then hopefully the podcast sites. We'll see if I can manage it. If not, you can find them on YouTube. It has 1.5 million hits on AO3. It is also one of the most popular fanfics. It has 618,096 words.
That's a lot of words.
It is almost 100,000 words longer than all the young dudes.
Oh my god.
It is the only fanfic in its series, though, so you're safe to read it. There is no cliffhangers. It's one and done.
Okay.
Which at 600,000 words, you would hope.
Define the word safe to read for me, please.
You will not have to wait for the author to upload chapters or continue the series.
Okay.
It's done.
Okay.
See, I'm going to say this right now. You're responsible for checking your own AO3 tags.
Fair.
I will put content warnings on things that I think are, like, really egregious, and I'm going to have to talk about in the first chapters on the podcast.
Okay.
But otherwise, you're responsible for reading your own AO3 tags, and if you are the kind of person who doesn't want trigger warnings or any kind of spoilers, and you read something and didn't read the AO3 tags, you are not allowed to be mad at the author.
100% agree.
Just some etiquette there. The other rare pairing in this book, or this fanfic, which isn't like a super rare pairing, but
okay,
it's here.
In the same one?
In the same one, is James and Severus.
Oh.
They're Harry's actual parents. It's adorable. I'm gonna throw that out there right now. Super cute.
Who's Harry's actual parents? James and Severus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that this is Omegaverse, but that concept is very popular within all fanfic, but especially anything with magic in it, because you can kind of do whatever you want.
Got it. Okay, so there
So
was
you're
no
like,
surrogate. It was
yeah, you can like take a potion and have a kid, or
okay. Okay.
you're magically powerful enough, and magic's just gonna do its thing.
Harry Potter kind of meets the Omegaverse. That's not what I had on my bingo card for tonight.
None of them are explicitly Omegaverse, though, just for the record. We're not actually doing dynamics. Just saying, no pregnancy is an option in a lot of these. Some people don't like that, and I was like, fair, I guess. But then you can have cute little Harry Potter babies with James and Severus. AO3 synopsis for this one, and I actually wrote my own synopsis because it's such a long fanfic. I wanted to have like a little bit more color in it.
Okay.
But the AO3 one from the author is after the war, Harry's world falls apart. Then he is offered a chance to try and make a better future for himself and his friends. Of course, things are never that simple. Which I thought was like, yeah. And I honestly couldn't tell you what prompted me to pick this 600,000 word fanfic
That's
based
all
on
you
that.
read before deciding to.
Yeah. I was like,
And the tags, I guess.
and the tags.
Okay.
But yeah, so I jumped in.
Okay.
So I wrote my own little synopsis for this one. And it is Harry discovers that no one is who he thought they were. His friends are his jailers, his mentors were his tormentors, and his enemies very well may have been his family. Years after the war, when secrets are revealed, Harry will try for a second chance at life, a chance to go back and try it all again, with some of the knowledge he gained and a family to support him, to save him, and the lives of the people he loves. Or could love. So this fanfic, if you didn't catch on already, time travel. And I will say it is long.
Okay, I need to talk. I want to ask about the rules of time travel. Are the rules in each fan fiction different, or is there kind of a collective understanding of what the rules of time travel are? Because in Harry Potter canon, they have a way to time travel. It's their little necklace thing. Is it the same in fanfics?
Yes and no.
Okay.
There's realistically, I think, popular ways you'll find time travel in Harry Potter fanfics. Time Turner, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty popular one. The other one is general like time sand things, assuming like the
Okay.
sand and the time turner is what is the magic in
Right.
it. So like you could have someone like take the sand and do like a ritual or
Okay.
whatever. The third option is a play on the Master of Death, where death is an actual entity that has the ability to do godlike things. So like if you have
Okay.
like death and fate and time, like they're
Mhm.
all actual beings.
Yeah.
And that's how this one does it.
Okay.
So Harry's a Master of Death. Death is like, things aren't looking so good,
So
and you're
Master
in
of Death,
charge.
meaning that he has the rock, he has the wand, and he has the cloak?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Or he is at least the master of all three of them. He may not like physically have them or whatever.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm also gonna preface, I think one of these, maybe two of them, are like even remotely Dumbledore friendly. This one ain't it.
Yeah. Yeah. I could have guessed that.
And that's just not me being biased at this point. That's just the fandom hates Dumbledore.
Yeah, the
for the most
fandom
part.
really spiraled out of control with Dumbledore hate. You're not a fan of him either, but
I'm not a fan of him, and this one is not pleasant to him.
okay, makes sense.
So, first chapter for this one, and I won't go into any spoilers beyond the first and second chapters for these. Like, I'm just trying to give you some context of what you're jumping into because AO3 can be daunting, and so can fanfics that are 600,000 words long. Feel free to stop me and ask questions as I go.
Yeah.
I'll answer to the best of my ability without spoiling things.
So, safe to say that this is going to be like sort of spoiler free for the 620,000 words, but I mean,
I'm gonna spoil the first chapter for you.
Yeah, okay.
Which, like, I don't know if that's even really spoiling it.
I don't know what spoilers are with fanfic. Like, I feel like if you're reading fanfic, you're just reading it for the relationship and the fun addition of the story.
The good time.
Not so much, like, to be shocked, but that just could be me. But I don't know. We're blurring the lines with spoilers with fanfic. We don't know the rules. So if you have any thoughts to that, just throw it in the comments. But if you're here, you're here. You're here for the ride.
Join us for what the absolute chaos I created is. So we start out, we've got a name change. Harry Hadrian James Charles Prince Potter.
That's Harry's name?
Yeah.
Sorry, Hadrian?
Hadrian.
Hadrian, okay. That sounds like
Harry,
another ship.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people refuse to believe that someone named their kid just Harry and not like Harrison or Hadrian or Henry or like literally
Okay.
anything else.
Okay.
Common thing. Anyway, more commonly known as Harry James Potter, is introduced roaming through the basement of the Ministry, aka the Department of Mysteries.
Okay.
And he is about to partake in some kind of ritual.
Okay.
And there's not really a lot of context. But what the first chapter does dive into is a lot of like what happened after the war.
Right, okay.
So you have Harry feeling like really despondent. He doesn't really feel things that he thinks he should be at this point. Like he's basically a blank slate of emotion and he doesn't know why.
So right now we're setting the scene for what the world is like after the War of Hogwarts, the Battle of Hogwarts, and they defeated Voldemort.
Yeah.
And where everybody's at after that. That makes sense.
Yeah, where they're at, what they're doing, and why going back in time was necessary.
Right.
So, what we've got is post-final battle. Dumbledore, apparently, has faked his death. He said he was off to do research on different ways to kill the Dark Lord, and Harry happened to deal with it while he was trying to figure that out. Which, Harry's like, that seems sus, but everyone seems pretty willing to accept Dumbledore's word on that one and just kind of move on.
Yeah.
With
There's
their lives.
a lot of accepting of Dumbledore's bullshit in
Yeah. They're
this
just
world.
like, sure, man. Like, problem solved and we don't want to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Sure, let's go. You faked your death. Whatever.
Yeah.
Dumbledore is back, and Harry, they've done all the, like, funerals. They're working through those emotions. And Harry goes to Gringotts to kind of, like, pay reparations for the dragon incident.
Oh.
Because he's like, destroyed the bank.
Yeah, sure did.
Should probably pay for that.
Yeah.
Stole their dragon.
Well, that's
Should probably pay for
him.
that. Yeah, Harry's a good dude. But when he does go there, he partakes in something else that's really common in fanfic, and that's called an inheritance test. And it's basically a way of proving, like, your identity and your lineage and, like, your inheritance, like,
right.
what you have rights to. And he finds out when he does that his parents are not his parents. His name is not his name. And there's been an awful lot of things done to him that he wasn't aware of. So we've got things like magical blocks. Part of his core has intentionally been reduced, so he's not as powerful as he should be. There's been a number of love potions used on him to drive him towards Ginny. He has several permanent glamours on his appearance to make him look more like James and Lily, and less like his actual dads. And then, Harry loses his ever-loving shit.
Yeah, no shitting. No kidding.
And he gets really upset, and he kind of, like, makes a pact with the goblins and is like, there's something going on here, and we need to figure it out. While this is going on, and Harry's trying to sort out his own life and his own feelings and trying to figure out why he doesn't feel anything, Dumbledore is also doing some stuff. And it's a lot of focus on creatures, specifically dark creatures.
Okay.
So you start to see things like dark creatures getting outlawed, getting rounded up, getting put in camps, shall we say. And then it goes past the dark creatures. Then it's like all creatures start going into these camps. And as we may know, there are several people we really, really like that are creatures.
Yeah.
Bill Weasley, for one.
Mm-hmm.
Fleur, his wife. Their daughter.
Yeah.
As well as Teddy.
Aww.
So all these people go missing. And Harry, like, breaks into this camp.
Okay.
Tries to rescue them. He's too late to rescue Bill and his family, but he does manage to rescue Teddy.
Okay.
He teams up with Draco because dark arts, dark mark, people are starting to get put in camps, and Draco's pretty sure he's going next.
Right.
So him and George and Charlie all kind of, like, abscond and put all these people in protective custody. They peace out. They go to France, so they're a little bit safer. And then we learn that Regulus, because we have to have Regulus back. If there's any option to have Regulus, we're going to have Regulus.
Right.
Turns out when he was in that cave, he didn't actually die, but what he did do was put himself in a coma by apparating out of a place that had anti-apparition wards. He actually got found in a Muggle hospital 11 years after that incident, and because of the danger of the Dark Lord at that time, ended up working for the Department of Mysteries as like a never allowed to leave there kind of person.
Okay.
Like protective custody for Regulus as well.
Okay.
And he goes by Unspeakable Onyx at this point.
Okay.
During this period, Dumbledore and Weasley Co., aka Ginny, figure out that Harry is kind of cluing on to things that he shouldn't be.
About the camps.
The camps, the weird magical blocks,
Right.
the love
Okay.
potions.
He's learning stuff. Yeah.
He's figuring stuff out, and they're like, that's not good.
Because the assumption is that Dumbledore did that to him.
Yes. Yeah, the assumption is that Dumbledore did that to him. The assumption is also that, like, they knew he was doing it to him. And then there's also the piece where, like, I didn't write it in my notes, but I'm fairly sure Harry actually ends up, like, married to Ginny because he was just, like...
Right, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But the idea is that Harry dies, Ginny gets all of his money.
Right.
Which is what she's in this for. Fame and fortune.
Oh wow.
Apparently. So they poison him. And instead of dying, they actually take him to the Department of Mysteries with Regulus. And Unspeakable Emerald is born. From there, things get worse.
Yeah.
So much worse. Magic gets more and more restricted as more and more things are considered dark.
Yeah.
And then what we start to see is kind of like a degradation in magic itself as the things that uphold it start to kind of fall apart.
Oh no.
The goblins get locked into Gringotts with a whole bunch of Dementors, and thousands of them are killed because they're also creatures, and they are not... The wizarding public does not want their wealth held by creatures because they've created quite a bit of stigma towards them.
Okay.
So that's their idea of like how they're going to get their money back. It does not go well for them.
Okay.
That backfires really hard.
Yeah.
All the vaults get locked and all the tunnels get sealed.
Oh no.
And then from there, we kind of jump into the very beginning of this chapter where we're at the Department of Mysteries, and there's that ritual taking place.
Mm-hmm.
They decide to send Harry back in time with the idea of having him go back with all of his memories so that he can go back, save them all, figure out how to, like, stop this from happening and getting to the point where, like, their friends are getting killed. Magic is slowly dying, and, like, the world is falling apart. But our fun little entities here, Death, Fate, and Time, are like, you're not really allowed to play with things like this?
Yeah.
So they step in and they kind of throw that plan, not out the window, but they definitely adjust it a lot. So the original plan was for Harry to go back to the day before his 11th birthday.
Okay.
With his knowledge. But what ends up happening is Harry goes back until he's like, I think 6. And he doesn't actually get to go back with all of his knowledge, but he gets to go back with vague impressions of what is going to happen. And a setup for him to, like, find his actual family.
Okay.
A little quicker than he would otherwise.
Right.
And that's where they leave off in the first chapter, which is a lot of, like, world building for what ends up being a really cool story about, like, their family, how you can, like, how do I put this? It ends up focusing a lot more on the adults.
Right.
So you see, like, how can James step in and, like, start changing things earlier?
Right.
And, like,
wait,
really...
James?
Yeah, because they, like, save them.
James is alive in this one?
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. Sorry. A little bit of chapter 2 spoilers there.
Fun.
But yeah, you actually to see, like, the adults in Harry's life step up and, like, do their job.
Okay, yeah,
and, like,
that's gotta be nice to see.
And, like, fix things.
Right.
And it starts when Harry is 6.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to read every single year leading into that.
Okay.
And then you go into the Hogwarts years, too. But, like, with adults who are like, hey, this is probably not a good thing.
Yeah.
The relationships are very much secondary to the story.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't know. It was just a really fun fanfic to read in the way that you could explore, like, what if they actually tried to help? Like, what if someone...
What if the parents, like,
stepped
didn't
up?
Suck?
Yeah, like, what if people were actually there and supported Harry and raised him...
Right.
From a kid to an adult.
Yeah.
And he had a loving, supportive family around him.
Totally.
And then the ship for this one gets thrown in as, I think it was a soulmates trope.
A soulmates trope?
Yeah, so like they're like soulmates or whatever.
Oh, I got you. Okay, that's
Again,
fun.
relationships are really secondary in this one.
Yeah.
Focuses a lot more on the family.
Yeah. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler, but I think it's a valid spoiler. Can you just confirm with everybody that there's not, like, incest in this
There is
book?
no incest in this. I don't
Because if
even know
it's...
if there was smut with them in this book at
Okay.
all.
Okay.
There was with the adults,
Okay,
if I
well, I'm
remember
glad.
correctly.
Yeah, that's going to be tough because, like, there really can't be a lot of smut with Harry Potter fanfic. You're dealing with children.
Yeah, it depends on how you're
Yeah.
placed. Like, is it the fumbling 16-year-olds together?
Right.
Or like you aging people up, you aging people down, you
Yeah,
time traveling, how
exactly.
you.
Yeah.
Or it is also fan fiction, and that is a wild, wild west of the world, and same fuck it.
Okay. Well, there's no incest in this one. That's what I was trying.
There is no incest in that one.
Okay, so what I'm getting from this one is it's really long.
It is very long.
But there is this level of Harry Potter gets parents that you kind of wish that he had in the actual books.
Yes.
Well, parents and adults that he had in the books.
Yeah, like an actual family. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, if Harry's coming back and James is alive,
Yeah.
then you know Sirius.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not in jail the whole time.
Right. Well, yeah, okay, so you have, like, adults in the room who can support him, and he also kind of has a vague understanding of what's going to happen, where, like, what I imagine, if you're a super nerd like me, like, it's kind of like Gandalf coming to Middle-earth, where he kind of has, like, an understanding of his purpose, but he's unable to form like real memories, and maybe when he comes across things he kind of like remembers like, oh, this isn't supposed to happen, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
But there's not like a clear direction for him right off the bat.
Yeah, like he knows generally like year 4, not a good year for me. How do we avoid this? And like
Yeah.
there is also some like supporting things that come back with him to make it a little bit easier.
So when they send him back, does he get sent back into a 6-year-old body?
Yes.
Or does he get sent back into like a 20-year-old body or a 20-year-old's mind in a 6-year-old's body?
So he gets sent back to a 6-year-old in a 6-year-old body.
Okay, I like that.
So that's also kind of where the deities like step in. They're like, you know what?
You don't just get to be all knowing. You
Yeah.
get to be like, you're a 6-year-old trying to figure out the world with kind of like a vague understanding and vague memories coming to you.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Which I thought was a really cool way of doing it, where like you just didn't get overpowered Harry right away. Like he is a 6-year-old and he is 6.
Yeah.
And I believe they set it up so the memories can't even start remotely coming back until he hits 11.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So like he does get to have like his full pre-Hogwarts childhood,
Yeah.
not knowing anything.
And I think the other thing that will maybe get people to want to read this is it's more Fred and George, which I feel a lot of people want from Harry Potter. So you get more of that too by the sounds of it.
They're adorable.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get to see a lot of really cool dynamics between the adults.
Cool. Okay.
I think Draco gets a little redemption in this one.
Good.
Neville gets to have not his actual parents, but like people.
Yeah, he gets a moment. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, it was really cute.
Okay, what else? What next?
All right. We're still on the Weasley kick. The next one is Harry and Charlie Weasley. And I would like to be praised for the fact that this one is also not relationship focused.
I'm very proud of you. Although I'm not super
ones.
surprised.
Yeah, I don't actually read I read a lot of smutty Harry Potter stuff that's weird mixes, but like a lot of it I'm just here for the fun story.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
67 fanfics meet this requirement.
Wow.
I know. And this one is called You're All I Have by NinjaPandaScholar. All one word.
I feel like I can get on board with this relationship quicker than some of the other ones. I like Harry Charlie.
It's adorable.
Charlie's like unfledged out, but Charlie is like mysterious and chill, and he's the cool dragon guy, and he's got long hair, and he's like
fun.
Yeah, he is fun. So I can get on board with this one.
This one's gonna go in a lot of places too. The relationship for this one's a little bit later in the fic, and it's not the focus.
Okay.
It has 378,633 hits on AO3.
Okay.
228,661 words.
Okay.
It is also complete. It is not part of a series. You are safe to start reading. It has been translated into French, in case
Wow.
you want your fanfic in French.
Cool.
Oh, this is also where I started adding some extra fun facts. This is also a Dadmort fic, so it's a double win on the weird names.
Dadmort means that Voldemort was Harry's dad, right?
Yes, but not in the way you think.
I don't know what I'm thinking when you say that.
Excellent. Blank slate.
I have no thoughts. I have
No
zero
thoughts.
thoughts during this episode.
So in AO3, you can like put things in collections, and if you put a fanfic in like a collection that you've labeled, it'll say it on the fanfic. So this one is in collections like Better Than Hot Chocolate on a Winter Day.
Okay.
If I could marry these fanfics, I would.
Wow.
So high praise from
High praise.
because I'm not finding people's reviews of these in the comment. That's a lot of work. But I will shout out your cool collection names. So the AO3 synopsis for this one is a piece of Voldemort's soul attached to baby Harry Potter that fateful Halloween night. Over the years, the soul piece witnessed how much danger and pain his host was in. How far would the soul go to protect the child he began to care for, especially when the boy started to care for him in return? Oh, just a little overprotective care, some magical training, and maybe some necromancy.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite fanfics of all time. I think about it a lot.
Wow.
Anything by NinjaPandaScholar is actually exceptional. Haley probably saw me got really excited on the couch earlier because they released a new chapter in a fanfic.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was stoked. So anything by them is really good. I think they have one or two.
Are they all Harry Potter fanfics?
They're, they have some. I think it's 911 fanfics too.
911.
Yeah, like Lone Star 911, and I don't remember what the other one 911. Like it's actually like a TV show. It's a first responders TV show.
I didn't know people watched those shows. I'm sorry if you watch them. I didn't know. I thought they were just like commercials between football games.
No, apparently people watch them right. There's even a couple Harry Potter crossover ones. I can't remember if it's this author or
What?
not, but they definitely had crossover fics with other stuff.
What?
They also had a Marvel fanfic crossover with Harry Potter that I was
Marvel
intrigued
makes
by.
sense to me. I'm sorry if you really like those shows.
But yeah, they're one of my favorite fanfic authors, and I adore their stuff. So if you try any of their stuff, it's really good. I've read most of it. This one's first chapter was, thank God, shorter. We start with a 9-year-old Harry Potter. He's a lonely child who grew up in a home without love, a slave to his own family, and locked in a cupboard, chased and beaten by his own cousin and his gang.
Okay.
Except on this day, after a particularly hard hit to the head, Harry isn't quite so alone. In the darkness of his cupboard, right as he's about to fall asleep, his head is pounding. A voice yells at him in the darkness, telling him he can't go to sleep.
Okay.
And this is the first time Harry has heard this voice, a voice that introduces itself as Tom. Tom has been living with Harry for years, trying to be heard by the boy, but he obviously isn't until
Does
this
this
moment.
get so Harry fanfic? Sort of?
Kinda.
Okay. I'm into it.
There is at least there is a distinct voice in Harry's head.
Yeah, well that's
and this is not an uncommon trope either. I have like 5 fanfics that have done this.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about them before.
I really like them. I think they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool concept to be like, what if the Horcrux in Harry's head became sentient?
Yeah. Well, it would make sense that it is. It's the only living Horcrux that he met. Like it would make sense that it had different rules.
Right? And then there's like the idea of like, okay, well if the Horcrux was sentient, then it had to like live through Harry's childhood with him.
Yeah.
Which had to have been very traumatic because he already lived through a very similar childhood.
Totally.
And then you kind of start to create like that empathy and the maybe my idea wasn't so great to come murder this child.
Yeah.
And you end up with Dadmort.
Great.
This is not the only Dadmort on the list either. The other one's a different take on it.
Okay.
But you basically follow Harry and Tom, who is brutally honest about who he is. For the record, Tom is not like, oh, I'm just this happy voice in your head. He's like, no, I murdered your parents.
Right.
And like,
oh
I'm a horrible person.
Oh my god, that's so traumatic for Harry.
But also is like, we're in this together now, so we're gonna figure it out.
Okay.
And then Harry takes on, and this is all the first chapter, or first 2 chapters, some cute snark, I would say, from like the one, neglect of his family, and then two, having the sociopath living in his head. So he gets really sassy,
Yeah.
and I live for sassy little Harry Potter. I think
Okay.
it's so cute. But he does a really good job of that. So obviously, Tom witnessing Harry's treatment over the span of 6 years until he turns 11, goes to Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Kind of starts coaching Harry through because we know Tom's a very good teacher. So he's like, we're gonna start doing some accidental magic on purpose
Okay.
to get us out of this cupboard.
Yeah.
One, let's go find some food.
Right.
And two, in chapter 2, for Harry's 10th birthday, a fun shopping trip.
Okay. Sure.
Which I thought this one is just really funny and entertaining as far as chapter 2 goes, and Harry being 10 and going shopping.
Yeah.
Because Tom is like, okay, cool. We're gonna go to my vault and we're gonna get the money out of there, because the way he gets into his vault, and one of the things they have set up for this fanfic at least, is there's 3 ways to get in. There's blood, there's a password, which is in Parseltongue, and then there's like a personal spell thing that he made as like a way to get in.
Makes sense.
So like only Tom could get into this.
Right.
Or Voldemort, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
So he's like, you can do 2 of these things. Like, he could do the spell and he could talk in Parseltongue. So he's like, well, just go take money out of my vault and then we'll go get you some stuff for your birthday.
Okay.
Super cute. The goblins don't think that's so cute.
No, of course not.
The goblins are like, what do you mean you want into that vault? And Harry's like, no, like, we're going to this vault. And they let him in because he technically meets the requirements for getting in. And the goblins are like, you're going to die.
Right.
Which is adorable.
Yeah.
But they do manage...
Super adorable. What an interesting word you just picked for that.
Super cute. But they do manage to get there. I think canon at 8 years old, Harry apparates onto the roof of his school. So this author uses that as like, Harry does have the ability to apparate.
At 8 years old?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, by accident at the very least, he has the ability to apparate. So Tom kind of just hones that a little bit more and is like, we'll talk through it and figure out how to do it on purpose. And that's how they get to Diagon Alley, in case you were wondering how they got on their shopping trip. I did write down a cute quote from this chapter too, which is my favorite. I think Tom is like being like, you need to calm down or something. Like, Harry's freaking out, and he's like, in reply, Harry's like, the serial killer in my head is a bad influence. No. Which I just thought was really cute, where he's like, I don't understand why you're complaining, man. This is your own fault. You raised me.
Yeah, no shit.
One of the things that Tom does do, which is a very cute fatherly act in this chapter, is make him go to the apothecary to get some potions and stuff for his pain, healing balms, and nutrient potions, which I think is a fanfic thing, but it might be canon too, where it's just like supplements to help replace when you're like not eating and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember anything like that, but like,
it makes sense.
You're not gonna go to J.K. Rowling and be like, "Do you have the?" She'll be like, "Yeah, absolutely." Like, whatever.
Yeah, sure. There's a multivitamin.
Yeah.
That you can take. But we walked into an apothecary, so our favorite potions master is obviously there.
Snape?
Yep. And that's who Harry asks. He's like, hey, like, can you help me find these things with a long shelf life? Because I'm going to have to, like, keep it hidden in his cupboard for as long as possible. He's got at least a year before he goes to Hogwarts.
Okay.
And Snape is like, yeah, absolutely, I'll help you. And then, obviously, Snape starts asking some really pointed questions about why this 10-year-old needs all these very specific...
Right. Does Snape know that Harry is who he is?
He does not.
Okay.
Yeah, Harry's hidden his identity enough that, like, Snape doesn't recognize him and wouldn't recognize him when he goes to Hogwarts.
Okay.
Which does come up later as, like, a thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where that chapter leaves off. They go back home. They've got a whole year to go before they go back to school. Okay. I will give a little bit of a spoiler for the Charlie-Harry ship in this one. It starts as letters in year 1.
Oh, cute.
When, like, they're doing the whole dragon situation.
Okay.
And it's just Ron being like, my brother works at a dragon sanctuary. And Harry's like, I have so many questions about dragons.
Right, yeah.
So him and Charlie start, like, sending letters to each other.
Okay, cute.
And then they meet when it's year 4.
When they have to
bring the dragons, and they
Yeah.
go to the Quidditch World Cup together.
Okay.
They still keep doing their little letter thing. I don't think they get together until like book 5 or like, and like when I say together, I mean like starts actual spending time
Feelings.
together
Yeah.
until like 5 or 6.
Okay.
Um, but this is a fun one because I will highlight the fact that there's like the necromancy tag.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more exploration of like, or exploration of a slightly darker Harry Potter,
Okay.
who also still kind of grows up with at least a one adult who has his best interest at heart the whole way
Right.
through.
Okay, cool.
And I will also say that Tom doesn't exist in his head the whole time.
Oh, nice.
So they do get to have some cute moments. And this is actually, I don't think this one really bashed Dumbledore that hard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think it was pretty minor in this one. I do think they like sort their shit out.
Yeah, and it also sounds like he's not maybe the most prevalent character, at least at the beginning.
No.
Yeah.
No. I think Tom is like obviously pretty hesitant about Dumbledore and is like, let's be cautious with that one.
Yeah.
Um,
So this one's kind of I like the fact that it's a cool take on the Horcrux.
mhm.
I do think it's very interesting to have the human Horcrux have different rules than the inanimate, because that is a big hole in Harry Potter, in my opinion.
Yes. Well, because like, why is Harry impacted the same way by the locket as everyone else? He lives with a literal Horcrux in his head.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I like that. I like Harry Charlie. I think that's fun.
Yeah, it was a cute one. I would highly recommend it.
And a little bit shorter.
It's a little bit shorter. It was super entertaining. It took a lot of interesting routes. It explored necromancy and like other areas of magic in a really cool way.
Cool.
That I thought was fun. Because obviously Harry's like, I want my voice in my head dad to have a body at some point.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of ways to do that.
Fun. Okay.
And you do get to have good Tom versus Voldemort.
Yeah.
Because those two things still exist at the same time in this universe.
Oh, cool. Okay. I like it. That's fun.
I have no egregious warnings on that one. But obviously there's like somewhat canon typical child abuse.
Yeah, that's what you would expect with Harry Potter. So.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3, are we at?
Yeah, we are. I got 5 of these. They do get progressively shorter as I go. All right. The next one. Got Harry Potter and Marcus Flint.
Marcus Flint, like the captain of the Slytherin Quidditch team?
That is, in fact, Marcus Flint.
See, here's the thing, because I doubt that, I don't remember what he was listed as, like, described as in the books, but he's not an attractive human being in the movies, and you know what, maybe without those teeth, he would be, but with those teeth...
The teeth are a lot. That when I told Danielle I was reading, because I'd found random fanfics, and I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. The synopsis was interesting. Danielle was like, you mean the guy with the teeth?
Yes, the guy with the teeth.
The guy with the teeth. Yeah, I don't remember how he's described in the books, and I will give the fanfic authors a pretty good kudos here. They don't try to make Marcus like super attractive or anything. They're like, he's a big burly dude.
Okay. Sorry, Marcus Flint and who? I just heard that and I think I forgot everything else you just said.
Harry Potter.
Oh my god. Okay.
8 fanfics meet this criteria. I don't know if I covered that yet.
That's too many. It's too many.
Poor Marcus. He's just trying to live his best Slytherin Quidditch captain life.
This is what I mean by the skewed opinion on Harry Potter. She's sitting here and she's like, poor Marcus. I feel so bad for him.
He didn't do anything wrong, Canon, other than be a little bit of a dick on the Quidditch pitch.
Okay, continue.
He's not even a confirmed Death Eater.
Alright, continue. We're not gonna have this argument right now.
The fanfic I would recommend for this one is called Touched by Death by Nick D'Angelo Lover 7.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like some capital letters in there. You'll figure it out. I'll put links.
We'll tag it.
Yeah. It has 304,096 hits on AO3.
Okay.
There's 120,576 words.
That is very manageable.
Yeah, this is like a 350 word book.
Page. Yeah.
Or page, sorry. Yeah, at most. It can be found in collections like While I Slept 1 Hour a Night and Platinum Harry Potter.
Cute.
This is also a complete fanfic, so you don't have to worry about it not getting updated, and there is no follow-up after this one.
Okay.
And it's translated into Portuguese.
Oh, very nice.
Which I thought was an interesting language for a random one to be translated into.
No kidding.
But you know, kudos to the Portuguese people who would prefer to read that in their native tongue. Our AO3 summary is Harry has been blamed for being the heir of Slytherin, and it seems like everyone in the school is against him. All he wants is to not be Harry Potter and have a normal life for once. A wish that is impossible when you're the boy who lived. This book, I think, spans from this fanfic.
Year 2?
This fanfic spans from year 2
Yeah.
through to the end. I think it's either year 4. No, year 5.
Okay.
Give or take. In case you're wondering how Harry ends up with Marcus at any point. And the plot summary for this one, for the first chapter, is pretty short. But basically what happens is in year 2, Harry keeps getting viciously bullied by every house except Slytherin. With the logic being that the kids in Slytherin are like, there's no shot Harry Potter is the heir of Slytherin. Like,
oh, I thought it was going to be like, this guy's the Slytherin.
No.
And he's manipulating all the Gryffindors. Like, let's go. Okay.
No, the Slytherins are like, that's not the heir of Slytherin. Like,
right, he's like, we're not stupid. Okay.
So, like, it's all that the Slytherins aren't not being mean to Harry, but they're not being, like, any different than they were any other
They're
time.
like, this is a stupid reason to bully the kid for. He's,
Yeah.
like, how stupid can you guys get?
Bully him for being small and an orphan.
Yeah.
Not being the heir of Slytherin.
Right.
But the other houses, including Gryffindor, are being pretty vicious towards Harry. He's, like, getting attacked in the hallways, chased, whatever. And during one of these attacks, where there's some older Gryffindor and Ravenclaw students chasing him, he, like, runs into Marcus in the hallway and hides behind him and is like,
right,
please help me.
Yeah.
And he does. Marcus basically makes a deal with Harry, and he's like, I'll protect you if you throw the next game against Slytherin.
Wow.
As Seeker. And Harry's like, fuck it, I don't owe them anything. I'll do it. So in return, Marcus gives him, like, this, like, amulet thing, and it will, like, basically send out a pulse to Marcus if Harry's in trouble, and Marcus will come help him.
Yeah.
And that's how their friendship starts, and then it kind of progresses from there in a lot of interesting ways, where, like, he has a protector, he's got someone who's always in his corner, and also someone to, like, actually talk to that's not going to be like, oh no, you're the heir of Slytherin, or I can't remember exactly how the book 3 part plays out, but, like, yeah, it was just it was a cool story of rethinking it, where, like, Harry had someone who was always on his side.
Right. Was it written in a way that made you believe that Harry would throw that game? I am almost offended that he threw the game. That's so not a Gryffindor thing to do.
The older Gryffindor students chasing him were on the Quidditch team.
Yeah, but, like, a Gryffindor thing to do would be to, like, do what he did in the book and, like, prove his innocence.
Yeah. I think this one is a little out of character for Harry in that respect. I think, like, they took some leeway with it.
Where I do think Harry has anger issues.
Yes.
And so that is where I can see it maybe happening.
Yeah, like, at that point, he's like, I've been being, like, chased and bullied by my own house for, like, weeks. Because this is after the dueling club incident.
Yeah.
So I think, like, he was just like, fuck this.
Fuck this. Fuck you guys. Okay.
Yeah, like, I don't owe you
anything.
Which
is sort of on brand for Harry.
Yeah, he's like, I don't owe you anything. Sure.
But in that case, he deserved to be in Slytherin.
That's a whole other fanfic genre.
Right. Yeah.
Which is actually really interesting to see, because it goes one of two ways. Of either Slytherin's like, yeah, let's band together and Harry, or they're like, fuck you, you killed our Dark Lord.
Yeah.
And it's worse.
Right.
Until it gets better.
Totally. Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this one was just really cool, because I think, like, they don't change a lot of the characters to match this either. Like, Ron gets upset because Harry's hanging out with the Slytherin all the time.
Yeah.
Or, like, the Slytherin dude keeps coming to his rescue and all of that. And then, like, obviously Marcus is 3 years older?
Something like that.
At least I think it's tagged specifically that he's 3 years older in this one. So obviously things don't start right off the bat.
Right.
But they do create, like, a really cute relationship where they trust each other, and Marcus is, like, a overprotective bulk of a man.
Oh, fun.
Which I thought was cute.
Okay.
Next up.
Number 4.
I didn't write to the author for this one. It's okay, I know who it is. We're back to our Weasleys.
Okay.
This is our last Weasley. And it is...
Bill?
No, that one I actually don't know if it counts as a rare pairing or not. If it is, it would be on the same level as Charlie.
Okay.
Those do exist, though.
Okay.
This author has one that I'm currently trying to read as chapters get released. This is Harry and Percy. Which does not make sense in canon timeline, but this one does not start during canon. This one starts later.
Harry and Percy.
Yeah.
I feel like they would clash.
Yes.
Okay, that's part of it.
Yeah. I think that's part of the thing. It's kind of entertaining how they, like, they're perfect, but in a, like, we both have severe PTSD kind of way.
Yeah.
So, for this one, there's 10 fanfics that meet this criteria.
Okay.
The one I'm highlighting is All Hail the Dark Lord or something idiotic like that.
Okay.
And this one's like that's a lie. Happy is not the word for it, but it's kind of like a roller coaster fun time.
Okay.
You're gonna go up and down, weird shit's gonna happen, it's chaotic, it's supposed to be. I believe this one is also by NinjaPandaScholar.
Okay.
Who, again, shout out, exceptional work. 378,205 hits on AO3.
Okay.
270,523 words.
That is a very respectable romance novel.
Yeah, about 500 pages, give or take. And again, their relationship, not the focus in this book either,
Yeah.
or this fanfic. It's like, it's there. It's more so than the other Weasleys I've mentioned,
Okay.
for sure, because they do start out together, but like, the storyline in this one's the highlight.
Yeah.
Tags to note on this one was Dark Lord Harry Potter and trauma should be a character.
Trauma should be a character. Okay.
It is found in collections like Wicked Wonderful Works. This one made me laugh the other night. You're a fanfic, Harry? And then the last one I also highlighted was Reject God, Worship These Fics.
Oh my god. Amazing.
Which I think is just such a good representation of what this was.
Okay.
The AO3 summary for this one is also fun. It's Harry Potter had a plan. It wasn't a very good plan, but at least it was simple. As Harry Potter plans go.
Yeah.
Step 1. Don't die from the insanely difficult ritual.
Okay.
Step 2. Cause as much chaos to the timeline as possible before getting killed and or arrested.
Beautiful.
That was the full plan. The plan does not go to plan.
Checks out.
It has to be reworked.
Yeah.
So our next portion of this is, as it goes, it was really simple. Until it became clear he wasn't traveling back in time alone. Now the whole plan has changed. Step 1. Don't die from the ritual. Step 2. Kill off current Dark Lord. Step 3. Establish following, become new Dark Lord. Step 4. Overthrow ministry. Step 5. Cause as much chaos to the timeline as possible. Step 6. Keep boyfriend alive and not mad at him.
Okay, so that has clear action items,
Yes.
which I can respect.
Yes.
That is a better plan than the first plan.
Probably because the boyfriend got involved.
Now, that is also a way more evil plan.
Yes.
And
Again,
the boyfriend is Percy, we're assuming.
Yeah, no. The boyfriend is Percy. Which where we can see Percy's influence on the second plan.
Yeah, Percy definitely likes a to-do list, which, oh, am I?
Are you a Percy person?
No. I can't be like Percy.
Oh, type A.
Oh, no. Ugh. This is not the therapy I wanted today.
Not the confrontation of self you were planning on from the Rare Pairings podcast episode.
I just want to be a serious.
No. No. You have the hair, and that's it.
Dude, I would lose my mind. I've written 4 to-do lists today just for today.
I lost my iPad in a thing of clothes.
I completed all 4 of my to-do lists, though, so not quite, actually. I have a few more things to do tonight. Anyways, continue. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
The last 2 sentences of our synopsis are, it was a work in progress, but plans hadn't worked out well for Harry in the past
True.
regardless. Oh well, it's not like you can make things worse.
That plan is not going to make things better.
So, I will give him credit on this one. the beginning of this world is really similar to the first fic, where like shit's hit the fan.
Okay, yeah.
Dumbledore's like not back alive or anything in this one. I don't think. I don't remember that being a thing.
Okay.
But basically, what's happened here is, again, when they destroyed Voldemort, they did a hard like pendulum to the other side.
Right.
Of like all things dark or evil, outlaw them, don't have them. People who do dark magic, not allowed. People who contemplate dark magic, not gonna be here. Creatures, not a good thing. Dark.
Okay.
So their world sucks ass.
Yeah.
And they were not discriminating against the age of said dark creatures or anything while they were doing this, like in that first fic. So what we see a lot of in this one is like Harry and his friends trying to protect people. Hermione's dead. She died during a raid trying to protect, I think it was like some werewolf cubs or something along those lines.
Okay.
Neville is the head Auror. Go Neville.
Oh, good for him. Aww.
Yeah. Neville's cute in this one.
Oh, I'm proud of him.
Percy is an unspeakable. Harry has a nondescript job of vigilante, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, wait, an unspeakable?
Yes.
What's that?
They're the people that work in the Department of Mysteries.
Oh, okay, cool.
That is canon, for the record.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. No, that makes sense.
That's an actual job. So we kick off with Unspeakable Smith, who is Percy, leaving work for the day. And he is a little shifty because he's stolen something. And his boss kind of like pulls him aside and is like, hey, like, how's your project going?
Yeah.
And Percy's like, it's going okay. Could use some fresher subjects from a project. We didn't get no context past that, which I think is funny.
Right.
But he's like, yeah, if my subjects were fresher, I'd have, like, we could extend their viability and whatever. And you don't really get context behind that. And the supervisor's like, yeah, cool, good time. Hands over this crystal, is like, have a good weekend.
Right, okay.
And Percy's like, what the fuck is this crystal for? And the dude's just like, take it. You're gonna need it. And he's like, all right, I'm not gonna question my boss. I'm just gonna take this home with me.
Okay.
On the way out of the ministry, he gets pulled aside by, oh my god, Finch Fletchley.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Justin.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's his first name.
Yep.
Pretty sure he's a Raven. No, Hufflepuff?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Something like that. Anyway, he pulls Percy aside. And he's like, hey, I need your help with, like, this warding thing. And Percy's like, I'm not speakable. This ain't my problem. But it's kind of weird that this guy is, like, talking to him.
Okay.
So Neville sees this and pulls Percy out of the situation, hands Percy something, and is like, here's the thing for Harry. See you on the other side. And Percy's like,
no idea what's going on. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You must be having an anxiety attack right now.
Percy's not happy.
No.
Percy's pissed. And Neville's just like, this is my part. I don't know what your part is. I don't know what anyone else's part is, but, like, here you go. And basically what's happened is Hermione had this plan to fix the world, which obviously was time travel.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry's trying to execute this plan to the best of his ability.
Okay.
Which is Harry, and it's a plan. So the ability is chaos.
Yeah. Why did Hermione leave that to Harry to execute?
I think she was designing it before she died, and then Harry found her notes for it and was like, this is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So it might not have necessarily been something Hermione was even planning on having them do. She was probably just, like, fiddling around. And then Harry was like, sure, let's try that.
Take this on. Yeah.
So basically what you learn is that, like, Harry has this compartmentalized thing where no one knows enough information to destroy the whole thing. But everyone's handing Percy all the pieces, being like, you need these today. And Percy's like, the fuck is my boyfriend doing?
Mm-hmm.
So he goes home, and Harry's there setting up some really crazy-ass looking ritual. And Percy's like, here's your stuff. What are you doing? Right. And Harry finally kind of explains it to him, because it's the final hour anyway.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're going back, I think, like 7 years, so he was going to be 20 right before things start to hit the fan.
Okay.
And Percy's like, I guess you could change things at that point, but if I went with you and we doubled the magic, we could go back 15 years, and Harry would be 15, and Percy would be 19.
Okay.
Or 12 years, sorry. And Harry's like, that seems like a bad idea for you to come with me. And Percy's like, it seems like a bad idea for you to go by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's logic.
So they do it.
Okay.
They go back. Harry's 15. He's going into 5th year. Percy's 19. He's starting at the ministry.
Okay.
Or his 2nd year at the ministry.
That is a better plan.
It is a much better plan. Um, and like I said, this one is pure chaos.
Yeah.
Like, Harry's plan is chaos. Their intentions are like, it can't get worse than it is now. All of our friends are dead, dying, whatever.
Yeah, concerning intention.
So they go back. And this one I also think about a lot, mostly because of the things the author decided to focus on as like weird qualities of the characters.
I like that.
One, there's a lot of PTSD in this one, and it is actually like fairly well represented. Where like Harry hasn't been back to Hogwarts since the battle, so when he has to go back,
And he remembers everything?
yeah,
Like, is this
this
okay?
is you go back with all your knowledge.
That would be
chaos.
hard. That would be hard.
So like he'll be walking through the hallways and just like dissociate.
And know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
and know
like
how it's gonna happen, and yeah.
Or he'll meet someone who's dead, and just like Harry is
Oh.
not there.
Okay.
So then Percy is like one of the only people who can pull him out of that, and it's a lot of like their dynamic is really cute and supportive. Despite Harry's hesitancy to label it, despite the fact they've been together for like 7 years. Which I thought was really entertaining. And the other thing that stuck with me with this one, which I don't think counts as a spoiler, but Teddy exists in their original timeline, and Teddy gets stolen and like killed or disappeared or whatever.
Okay.
And Harry is determined to get Teddy again at all costs.
Okay.
So he's like pushing Lupin and Tonks together. He's like, this week, this summer, you're going on vacation. I paid for it. Have fun.
Okay, well, you know what? That actually is a more believable reason for Lupin and Tonks to be together in the first place. So,
yeah. Harry's like, I don't care if you like each other.
once again,
terrible relationship.
Lupin is not straight.
No. And
I
honestly,
would've told
she's
you
not
that-
either.
No, gosh,
Like, they're
no.
both, yeah.
And we haven't finished all the young dudes yet, but like, all the young dudes is a compliant canon compliant Harry Potter book, and we still don't know how that relationship is gonna happen. But like,
I just can't see it. There's no.
I can't.
He's so gay.
He's so gay.
Yeah. But this way I was like, and Harry's like, I don't give a shit.
Sorry, we don't mean that in a rude way. Like,
No, he's
that. He's written that way.
yeah.
J.K. Rowling wrote a lot of her characters in like a really queer, positive way, but then she just like punched herself in the face because she is blatantly homophobic. That this is a fact. Like, that's
Yes.
And so she made all of these wonderful characters who would have such good relationships with each other, and she's like, no.
All that tension, whatever.
Yeah, it's so rude.
That
Anyways.
lingering hug meant
Anyways.
nothing.
So the Lupin and Tonks relationship just doesn't make sense to begin with.
No.
So I like how he's like
Yeah.
forcing them together.
Harry's just like, I just need you to pop out this kid for me. Don't care anything beyond that. He doesn't even like Lupin that much. He's like, you kind of failed in a lot of ways for me.
Yeah.
Holding a bit of a grudge as Harry does.
Yeah.
But he's like, you're fucking, so I can have my godson.
Yeah. Okay.
Which like that one, for whatever reason, that whole subplot they carry through this entire fanfic really stuck with me.
Super fun. Yeah.
Because I thought it was hilarious.
I also really like I really enjoy character-driven narratives where they have to explore the difficult things that they went through and how those impact them. Like, that's what really gets me. Those are the types of books that I love. So that's really interesting to me, too.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting one that kind of bridges that with, like, it's still fun, it's still fanfic, it's still kind of like that wish fulfillment-y bit, while still having that very real impact of, like...
Cool.
Percy also has a really hard time with it.
Yeah.
Percy also has, like, maybe a girlfriend at some point in this, because when he comes back, there's, like, a distinct moment where he's, like,
canon,
with...
he does.
Yeah, Penelope Clearwater.
Yeah.
So Harry's like, have you broken up with her yet?
Did you just say Penelope Clearwater?
Yeah.
Isn't that a Twilight character?
I don't know.
Isn't Clearwater...
I think it is...
Keep talking.
It's something in Twilight.
This is why I brought my laptop, because I just knew that something was going to be said, and I had to know. So let me...
But, yeah, I just thought it was really funny where Harry's like, you really need to break up with your girlfriend, because, like, we're here. I will also add, and this is a spoiler for chapter 2, they go back, and they're not their, like, original ages. Like, Harry is not 15, and Percy is not 19. They're in their late 20s, early 30s. So they have to, like, figure out how to step into their lives while being, like, very scarred and very much older than they were at that time.
Okay. Okay. Clearwater is a family name in Twilight. That is like Harry Clearwater, Sue Clearwater, Seth Clearwater, Leah Clearwater.
Yeah, Leah.
But
Seth.
Penelope Clearwater is a Harry Potter character.
Yes.
Leah is the one that I was thinking of, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, go on.
Anyway, that was a really fun, good time. If you're looking for just like something to dive into that's decently long but gonna be a wild ride and keep you up all night, that was a really good one.
Okay.
Would highly recommend.
Number 5. Is this our last one?
This is our last one.
Woo!
This is my exception to my rule because I'm addicted to this fanfic. Uh, this is Voldemort and Newt Scamander as the main couple.
I hate myself for it, but I can see it.
And honestly, so cute.
Uh-huh.
But in the way, like, they don't start off together in any way, shape, or form. Like, they have a common goal, which is protect Harry.
Yeah.
And then they, like, just kind of end up with two dads.
Okay. Newt is probably one of my favorite characters from Harry Potter, period.
Same.
He is so whimsical. He's so much fun. I love him with all of his animals.
They're so cute.
I think he's so fun. Oh, what an interesting couple. Okay, tell me more about this one.
And I think Fantastic Beasts did him so dirty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, Fantastic Beasts was
Did everything
a mess.
dirty.
Yeah, that was a mess.
There are 0 fanfics that meet my criteria for this one, including this fanfic, because it is not complete. I believe there's 14 chapters out so far. She is actively, I'm sorry, I'm gendering someone. They are actively uploading.
Okay.
I think the last update was on February 24th, 2025.
Okay, so it's happening.
It's happening. It's still a risk. You never know. It's AO3. But this one is called Elysium Sanctuary by Isalise. I think that's how you say it.
Okay.
And again, this is the only incomplete fic on my list for a really good reason. Because it was so good.
Is so good.
There's 53,697 hits for this one. And 48,477 words published so far.
Okay. From what you've read so far, where are you feeling like you're at? Like, if you had to give a guesstimate for how long this was going to be, I feel like that's a hard thing to ask, but, like, do you feel like you're into the story, or...
Oh, I'm so invested.
Okay, but, like, are you at the beginning of the story, does it feel like? Do you feel like you're mid?
I think it's at the beginning. I
Okay.
see this one pushing well into the 100, 200,000
Okay,
words,
okay.
if not even, like, 3.
Okay.
Just because of where they're at and, like, the conversations that still need to happen and where it's going to go.
Okay.
Obviously, our main pairing is Voldemort and Newt.
Okay.
But there is a tag for Drarry on this one.
Ooh.
Later on, not
Okay.
right now. Notable tags is Voldemort learns feelings, with feelings being all caps.
Good for him.
And
I mean, he's always had feelings,
just
but
not
learning about them is a big step for him. So good
and
for
like
him.
maybe just like not all of them.
Yeah.
The other tag I noted was I woke up and decided Harry needed 2 fathers, all right? With 3 question marks.
Fair.
And then I'm gonna put a trigger on this one because there's some pretty graphic depictions of child abuse pretty early on, aka immediately. They do not last. I will say that much. Like, it kind of gets tackled in the first couple chapters, and then we move away from that.
Okay.
But it is there. The AO3 summary for this one is: summer after the traumatic end of the Triwizard Tournament, instead of Harry Potter getting visions of the latest evil plot from the Dark Lord, it is Voldemort who gets visions of the boy who lives childhood, and they are not pleasant.
Checks out.
And then I have a secondary plot thing here. I don't really know what you call these in AO3. Is when Newt accepts to become one of Harry Potter's secret guards as a favor to Albus Dumbledore, he hadn't anticipated being faced with a choice concerning the welfare and safety of a child. Obey Albus Dumbledore's orders or stay at Voldemort's side to protect Harry. Oh, though difficult, the right choice was clear. Just how Newt kind of plays into this.
Okay.
You're like, how the fuck does Newt get here?
Yeah.
But like canonically, Newt is still alive.
Okay.
For the record.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah,
old
we
because
knew
he's
that.
technically younger than Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll spoil a little bit for this one because it's also a work in progress fic, and I don't know how many chapters there's going to be. Newt's also friends with the Flamels and has access to his own Philosopher's Stone.
Cool. Okay.
So he's like 60 something looking, 30 something looking.
Okay.
Like he doesn't appear super old.
Yeah.
He's also going to live forever, so
Yeah, he'll be fine.
indefinitely. But this one, I did the first 2 chapters. So it starts out with obviously Voldemort's receiving dreams of Harry's childhood, and they are not pleasant. Belt lashings from his uncle the summer after first year, and then the house elf dropping the cake on his aunt, and then like another round of beating this poor child.
Oh my god.
Voldemort jolting awake from that memory, and then like trying to sleep again, getting more of them. I think this one is canon where he gets burns the eggs and has his hand held over the stove.
Oh right, yeah, I remember that.
And then I think there's also the frying pan one is also in here.
Okay.
And what ends up happening with Voldemort, because we know in canon Harry gets his anger.
Yeah.
Voldemort gets his pain.
Aw.
And his fear and his agony and his despair.
Okay.
So what he has to start confronting now is like he doesn't feel these feelings on his own. He's getting all of Harry's feelings and he has to sort through them and kind of like understand what's going on. And I think one of the really cool defining things the author throws in is like he could throw up his occlumency shields.
Yeah.
But he chooses not to. Like he just can't bring himself to do it. And instead he finds himself standing outside of number 4 Privet Drive under a tree watching a small dark-haired boy pull weeds from a garden during a heat wave with a visible burn on the back of his neck, and he's clearly favoring one side.
Aww.
And so like Voldemort's sitting here trying to be like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like this is not the world he expects to see. This is not the boy who lived he expects to encounter.
Yeah.
He's like, how is Dumbledore failing another child?
Right, okay. This one's not making Dumbledore looks too good, is what I'm assuming.
No, this one is not. This one is not friendly to him. I don't know if it gets better though. Like sometimes people are like,
yeah,
he's misguided and stuff at the beginning, and then you like work through it,
right.
and he ends up with like some form of redemption. I don't know where this one's going. It's not published yet.
Totally.
But he does keep finding himself returning and like basically just watching Harry and seeing the repercussions of this, and also still dreaming about Harry. So in the second chapter, he finally like kind of calls out to Harry and is like, "Hey, hi, how are you? What's going on?" And he doesn't expect Harry to know what he looks like, because at this point he's kind of like fixed the things from the ritual that made him a little snake facey.
Okay.
And he looks like Tom Riddle would look in his
yeah,
mid to
so
late
he's like
40s.
Hot Tom, yeah.
Yeah, he's Daddy Tom. I spent today sending Instagram videos of Tom back and forth with Daniel.
Oh, good.
Because we really wanted to do Knights of Walpurgis era TV show instead of what we're getting. Because I thought that would be more interesting.
It's funny.
But yeah, so like he's like, wait, you shouldn't know what I look like. But Harry's like, Voldemort, hi, what are you doing here? And he's like,
oh my god,
scared of why he's there.
Yeah.
And Voldy reassures him. He's like, you're behind the wards. I can't come in and I can't cast magic. You're totally safe. He's like trying to convince Harry to talk to him.
Okay.
And like explain what is happening, like why he's here.
Okay, so he's trying to get more information.
Yeah, he wants to know why the chosen boy, the golden child, is being regularly beat by his family.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's really confused.
Yeah, that's fair.
And confronting feelings that he doesn't understand.
Totally.
And Harry's like, nope, we're not talking about this. And he just runs back inside.
Okay.
And Voldemort keeps going back for, I think it's like a week.
Okay.
On end, trying to convince Harry to talk to him.
Yeah.
And Harry keeps being like, that's not happening. So eventually, he calls our favorite potions master and is like, hey, I need, where is the list? Some pretty specific things. Healing potions, bruise wart balm, pain relievers, and nutritional supplements.
Okay.
And Snape is like, are you okay? And Voldemort's like,
that sounds like not a thing that Voldemort would do.
Yeah, and Snape's like, why do you want this? And he's like, don't ask questions, just get me what I want.
Right.
Because he's still Dark Lord at this point. Like, there's not a lot that's changed just yet. Like, he's still not our friend, but he's also like, I feel shitty.
Yeah.
There's this child being abused, and it's something he can actually really empathize with.
Right.
And then, So Severus gives him that, and he basically Pavlov's Harry
Oh my god.
by being like, here's some food, here's like these potions, here's the bruise bomb, like
Yeah.
what do you need?
Okay.
And we leave off in the second one with like Harry hesitantly starting to take these things from him and
Okay.
talk.
Interesting.
And I think the third chapter dives into how like Newt comes
Comes
into
in.
the
Okay.
equation, and him like meeting with Dumbledore, and Dumbledore being like, I need you to come help guard Harry. You don't have to talk to him or interact with him, you just need to watch out for Death Eaters or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then Newt gets there and he's like, what is this farce?
Yeah.
Like, no one's doing anything, and Harry's clearly not okay.
Yeah. You're literally like protecting Harry from getting help right now, which is
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
And it kind of goes from there. And
Cool.
like, I'm obsessed with this one. I can't wait till the author releases new chapters. I think it's such a cool take on the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like I won't spoil any more that's published already, but yeah, it was a really fun one.
Yeah. The thing that I find so interesting about the Harry Potter fanfic, and this is part of the reason why I don't read a ton of it, is because it really is taking Harry Potter that you've read as a kid, because Harry Potter is a children's book, right? Like,
Yeah.
it literally makes the children the main characters, which makes the parents neglectful, or and like all the adults neglectful, right? Because
Yeah.
as a kid, when you're reading it, you want to be the kid who's like, I don't need parents, the parents are the bad guys, like they don't help me. That's what you want as a kid, and that's why I read Harry Potter, and that's why I loved it so much. But now you're reading it as an adult, and you have all of these people who see all of the actual problems with Harry Potter because they're not 6 anymore, they're not 12 anymore. They realize that this is neglectful, and they're like, let's make it better.
Yeah, like how do you age this up to make it approachable from a different audience?
Mm-hmm.
Or like entertaining or whatever you need it to be for people who loved it as kids, but they're like, I still kind of want to read it, but like if I read it now, I'm just pissed off.
Right, because it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really fun take. I enjoy the different ways that they find parents for Harry for fanfics.
Yeah.
Which is
fun.
cute, and like the moments where they're like, where can we intercede in Harry's canonic development and like change things?
Yeah, and where would it go from there?
Yeah, like really common after year 4 when Harry's by himself, intentionally isolated by Dumbledore and hurting from Cedric's death. So easy to pop in there with something and just throw the whole thing off.
Yeah.
People are less likely to do it after like year 1 or anything like that because
Okay.
there's not a lot of
Yeah.
strife. Even year
Right.
2,
Tough. Yeah.
but year 4 is a good one to get in there.
Uh-huh.
I think year 3 with Sirius too is kind of when you start to see cracks. Year 5 after Sirius dies is another really popular one where like
That's for sure a big one. Yeah, I could imagine.
you can slot in with a lot of stuff there and start turning things into like
Yeah.
a much darker path.
Yeah, because I've
Um,
seen a lot of. Well, I shouldn't say I've seen, but year 5 was manacled.
mm-hmm.
So that one I can see a lot of. And I feel like also after year 5 too, you can kind of time jump to when they're all adults and explore a lot of different things.
Yep.
Or you just kind of go right from the get-go, right?
Yeah, you just start like you make one different decision along
Yeah.
the way and the whole thing gets thrown off.
Totally.
Like
Cool.
Harry doesn't meet Ron on the Hogwarts Express.
Yeah.
Harry doesn't have as much bias towards Slytherins, and maybe he's more willing to take the hat's choice.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
100%. Okay, cool.
I do have 3 honorable mentions.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is where one of the straight ones comes in. I have Harry Potter and Death, which was actually really entertaining.
Okay.
Harry Potter, Harry Potter.
Okay.
You can ask questions. I can answer them.
I don't know that I. How? What? How?
Post Battle of Hogwarts, Harry Potter 1 is like real despondent. He won, but he's like, my life's not complete. People keep hero worshipping me. He's like, I'm not gonna find, I guess, love here.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
genuinely for who I am as a person and not my name or my fame or what I've done.
That's I'm sure relatable for some people. Yeah.
And again, this one was weird, and I just picked it up because it was on a list I saw, and I was like, let's find out what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, I can't remember if it was Death or some other like deity, cosmic force was like, you know who could love you? For you? You. So instead, Harry 1 gets sent to Harry 2's universe, where Harry 2...
Oh, it's multiverse.
Yeah, where Harry 2 would have died in the battle against Voldemort. Like, that
Okay.
Harry just doesn't have the, I guess, like, will or whatever it is.
Yeah, okay.
The spice that's going to make it capable for him to be a murderer.
Okay.
In that sense. So instead, that Harry 1 goes to Harry 2's universe and does it for him, and they like fall in love and
Oh wow. Okay.
are a couple.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, it was an experience and a half.
Yeah, no kidding. That's fun.
And then my last one is Harry Potter and Luna Lovegood.
Aw, that's nice.
It was a cute one. It's, I think, also by NinjaPandaScholar. Um, and Harry's also a creature inheritance in that one, which was a really, really weird one. Um, but it was kind of cute.
Oh, that is fun. I like that. That's cute.
Yeah.
That would be so wholesome.
Yeah, they were the whole thing was really wholesome. Where yeah, Harry becomes like a Dementor in book 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of sucking out his soul, it, like turns him into one.
Yeah.
But he still has like his little Harry suit.
Aw.
And it was like him kind of like figuring out how to navigate all of that, and Luna
Being
was
a Death Eater, yeah, or sorry, a Dementor.
yeah, and like what does that mean? Why did I get turned into one?
Okay.
It was cute.
Okay.
There was not a lot of like strife in that one. It was mostly like
Just cute. Yeah.
cute good time.
Okay. Adorable.
Yeah. So those are my Harry Potter top rare pairings.
You can tell that the intervention episode that we did a couple months ago did not
No.
stick.
Not even a little bit.
I was telling Daria earlier that when we look back on her first year of home ownership, the number one thing that she's going to think about is the fact that she read like 400 Harry Potter fanfics during that time.
Yeah.
Which I
the
think
anniversary
is
is 29th of April. Yeah, it's in a month and a little bit.
It's just coming up. Also, the 1 year anniversary of our podcast. It was around the same time.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I think it's April 26th or something like that.
Oh my god, you know the date?
I think so.
That's so cute!
I mostly remember the date because I was frantically trying to buy a house and
Yeah,
start a
that's fair.
podcast
That's
all
fair.
at the same time.
That's fair. That's fair. That's still so cute that you remember our 1 year anniversary.
And move.
Oh my
Because we had to
gosh.
set this up for the second episode.
We should celebrate in some way. What's our 1 year podcast episode gonna be? We haven't thought about that.
According to the schedule right now, not Zodiac Academy. All the young dudes?
Yeah, maybe.
Something.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll
fine.
see what we settle on in 3 weeks.
Okay, well, before we go, thank you so much for making it this far. If you have, please give us a like or a subscribe or a comment. It really means a lot to us. Thanks so much for being here and listening to us rant about Harry Potter fanfic for an hour and a half.
Yeah, good times. All of the fanfics I mentioned and probably some like secondary ones for each of these will be in the description on YouTube or podcast site you get this from, if I can put it there. And yeah, if you have any you want more recommendations for, or if there's any things we mentioned that you're like I would love to explore them more, let me know. I might have recommendations. I don't know. AO3 searching is wild, so you can always try to learn how to use that.
All right, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.